There's a certain kind of strength that doesn't yell, doesn't flex, and doesn't need to prove itself. But when it enters a room, everything shifts. That's raw masculine power at its peak. And semen retention is the fuel behind it. Every time you retain, you're not just holding back. You're building pressure, tension, and presence. You're conserving the force that sharpens your instincts, strengthens your body, and solidifies your mind. It's not just about testosterone levels. It's about how your body uses that energy to build real toughness. The kind of toughness that's calm under pressure, focused under chaos, and unshakable no matter who's watching. Raw strength isn't just about lifting weight. It's about carrying intensity. Retention trains your brain to stay focused, your nervous system to stay ready, and your body to stay charged. The mind gets clearer, muscles react faster, and endurance grows deeper. Every day you retain, your biology shifts toward dominance. Posture straightens, grip tightens, presence thickens. Men feel it, women sense it. You're no longer running on scattered impulses. You're moving with internal fire. And that fire isn't loud, but it burns hot. In any room, people notice. Not because you speak more, but because everything about you says one thing: this man doesn't break. Section 1. Adaptive stress. Most men are owned by their impulses. They avoid discomfort, chase ease, and crack under pressure. But there's a different path. The path of a man who holds his seed. Semen retention creates controlled internal tension. It's not easy. It's frustrating. But that's the point. Every time you resist the urge to release, you're training your nervous system to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. This consistent pressure recalibrates your brain's pain receptors, known as nociceptors. Over time, what used to feel overwhelming starts to feel normal. You're no longer ruled by stress, you're strengthened by it. This is how real toughness is built. Not in the gym, not in a fight, but in the quiet, private choice to hold the line when it would be easier to let go. Retention upregulates your brain's natural painkillers, beta endorphins, and other endogenous opioids. These chemicals are released in response to stress, but when you don't seek quick pleasure or easy relief, your body starts producing more of them on its own. You become less reliant on distractions and dopamine hits. Your focus sharpens, your clarity deepens. In the middle of physical pain or emotional chaos, you remain calm. Not because it's easy, but because your brain has already learned how to handle pressure without collapsing. The result is mental steel. You stay in control during high-stress environments. You don't panic when things get tough. You don't flinch when others would crumble. Retention delays the fatigue response, meaning your mind and body don't wear down as fast. You last longer, not just in one area, but in everything. In conflict, in competition, in hard conversations, in discipline. You show up with the kind of stamina that makes people wonder what you're running on. But there is no secret, just retained energy, channeled tension, and a nervous system that doesn't fear pressure anymore. This resilience isn't just internal, it shows on the outside. Your reactions slow, your breathing stays steady, your body language tightens into command. People feel the difference, but they can't put it into words. You're harder to provoke, harder to read, and impossible to shake. That kind of energy is intimidating because it's unfamiliar. It's the result of a brain that has stopped begging for relief and started thriving in discomfort. You don't need to pretend to be tough. You are. Not because you shout louder, but because you've conditioned your entire system to handle what most men avoid. And that's why retention makes you the toughest man in any room. Not because of some mythical power, but because every part of you has learned to sit in tension and grow from it. You've trained your mind to outlast chaos. You've sharpened your pain tolerance without running to substances or distractions. You've become the man who doesn't need relief to function, only challenge to rise. In a world full of reactions, you respond with control. In a room full of noise, you move in silence. And when pressure mounts, you don't fold. You feed on it. Section 2. Fear circuit suppression. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it whispers. It shows up in hesitation, in second-guessing, in backing down when you know you should stand up. And most men carry this fear in their nervous systems, hardwired from years of avoiding conflict and chasing comfort. But semen retention starts to change that wiring. One of the key regions responsible for fear responses is the periaqueductal gray, PAG. It's the brain's freeze center, the part that triggers submission or shutdown when faced with threat. Retention weakens its grip. Over time, the same situations that once made you shrink, confrontation, challenge, judgment, stop feeling so intimidating. You don't freeze. You step forward. This shift goes deeper into how you process shame. The insular cortex is the part of your brain that lights up when you feel humiliated or judged. It's what makes people avoid eye contact, speak with hesitation, and apologize for existing. But long-term abstinence reconditions this region. You stop reacting to shame with weakness. You stop caring what people think in the way most do. You don't become arrogant. You become unshakable. You start moving through social situations without carrying the fear of embarrassment. You act boldly, speak clearly, and carry yourself like a man who answers to something higher than public approval. And then there's the most dangerous fear of all, anticipation. Most people don't fear the moment. They fear what might happen. Their nervous systems get hijacked by imagined failures, worst-case scenarios, or social rejection that hasn't even occurred. Retention cuts that loop. It trains your body to stay grounded, even when your mind tries to escape forward. You start moving in real time, calm, steady, controlled. While others are trapped in fear-based futures, you're making decisions in the present. That's power. Being the only one thinking clearly while everyone else is spiraling in their head. The body learns not to flinch. The eyes stop darting. The voice doesn't tremble. This isn't something you practice with affirmations. It's trained through tension. The tension of retention is what hardens your system. It makes fear less personal. You stop interpreting discomfort as danger, and that changes everything. Suddenly, you're not scared to ask, to lead, to fight, or to walk away. You're not frozen by what ifs you act, and the world adjusts. This is the kind of fearlessness that people respect. Not the fake kind that comes from pretending, but the earned kind that comes from holding the line when it mattered. Fear used to control your pace, your posture, and your plans. But now, you run your own circuit. You don't get pushed into silence. You don't get pulled into panic. Retention reclaims your brain's highest function: choice. The choice to face heat without melting. The choice to move with power when others twitch with hesitation. Fear stops ruling you, not because it vanishes, but because it loses access to your decision-making. That's what separates men who lead from men who obey, who gets to drive when tension shows up. With retention, it's you. Always you. Section 3. Threat calibration. The body tells the truth before the mouth ever opens, and one of the deepest truths lies in your pulse. In moments of stress, most men's hearts race. Their breath shortens, their voice rises, and their presence shrinks. But a man on retention reacts differently. His pulse doesn't spike, it holds. This calm, slow rhythm under pressure is not just a sign of control, it's a primal signal. It tells other nervous systems, I'm not afraid, I'm ready. Predator-trained brains, both male and female, pick up on it instantly. They don't always understand why, but they feel it. And they respond by backing down, yielding space, or submitting without a word. This response is ancient. In nature, predators don't chase panicked animals. They're drawn to movement, tension, and vulnerability. But when an animal doesn't flinch, when it stares back with steady breath and no spike in pulse, it sends a different message: threat. Humans haven't lost that instinct. In high-stakes environments, fights, negotiations, leadership dynamics, people subconsciously watch for cues, and nothing communicates danger and power more than a man who doesn't react. Retention trains this stillness. By stabilizing hormones and increasing vagal tone, it keeps your pulse grounded. You stop leaking energy. You stop betraying yourself. And in return, the world treats you differently. You don't have to puff your chest or raise your voice. The pulse says enough. It sets the tone in any interaction. While others twitch, sweat, or stumble over their words, you remain calm. That calm creates tension, not for you, but for them. It forces others to adjust to your pace. It makes them measure their words more carefully. This is what dominance feels like in the real world. Not aggression, but unshakable rhythm. Semen retention gives you this edge, not by making you louder, but by slowing you down until every heartbeat becomes a silent command.